All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome again in our podcast here in Anchor, where we interview inspirational individuals in their respective fields so we can also uplift the spirit of one another in this season of pandemic. So, guys, today we have a special guest. And just to share with you, actually, I've been following him ever since I graduated because ito, share ko na rin no, yung background niya. Our guest will share a little bit of his story in entrepreneurship, and I believe we can learn a lot from him because he also came from various industries. Actually, Sir RJ Ledesma is also doing his podcast. He's also a host in Philippine Realty TV in Bloomberg and also co-founder, VP for Business Development of EnterPH, co-founder and chairman, VP for Business Development of Mercato Central Philippines. So kung nakapunta na kayo sa BGC Mercato, so ito yung isa sa masarap na kainan, di ba, sa BGC. Of course, he is also an Executive Vice President of Ledesco Development Corporation, an inspirational speaker, MC, professional host, and of course, an actor. So recently, napanood ko pa yung movie nila with Gerald Anderson and Miss Pia Wurtzbach. So grabe guys, I'm so inspired on how Sir RJ is doing all of these things. And he's also being an excellent entrepreneur. I'm sure marami siyang matutulong sa atin this afternoon. So guys, without further ado, Sir RJ, good afternoon po.
Hi, Carlo. Thanks so much for inviting me to your podcast. I'm very, very grateful and humbled by the invitation. Sana may matutunan yung mga listeners, mga podcast listeners to this very special podcast. And I hope to learn from you as well.
Yes, sir. Definitely po. I'm sure marami po kayong masishare na relevant insights. So, to start with, sir, no, our discussion, I believe this season has been challenging for all of us. A lot of entrepreneurs encountered challenges starting last year pa lang when we had our ECQ or lockdown. Maraming businesses ang nagsarado. Maraming nag-transition, sir. I think, sir, one of the questions na madalas itanong sa mga business people right now is that how do you think, sir, passion is relevant in entrepreneurship? Kasi considering na marami nangyayari, yun, sir, yung gusto kong unang itanong. Is passion still relevant, sir, pagdating sa business at the season?
I think it's not an idea of passion because you can be passionate about something but doesn't mean that you're good at it, or you can be passionate about something but it's not the right business to be into. So I think the bigger question to really ask yourself is that you want to go back to what is an entrepreneurial mindset all about, or how does an entrepreneur think about business? Now, I've had the privilege because of being a host, no, for business shows. Like I have a show called Bright Ideas, and on Bright Ideas, on One News, I talk to startup companies, find out their success secrets. On my podcast, RJ Ledesma podcast, I talk to business people, and also for Go Negosyo, and I talk to people like Injap C of Double Dragon, and Dennis Oy of Phoenix, and of course my business partner Jose Jamag Magsaysay, no, of Potato Corner. And the similar thing that they have across all of them, diba? I mean, they're all passionate about business, but the difference is that what is the way that they perceive how to do business. And all of them have what we call an entrepreneurial mindset, meaning it's a mindset that looks out for what are the new opportunities, what are the new things I can introduce into the market, what are the new value propositions that I can create. The best analogy that I can talk about is that, you know, entrepreneurs wear what we call entrepreneurial lens. We see the world with opportunity. Let's say you take out that lens right now and we look at this pandemic and we say, oh my goodness, there's a ECQ, there is social distancing, the supply chain is being disrupted. It's scary. But my job as an entrepreneur is not to determine whether times are good or bad. My job as an entrepreneur is to say, what are the opportunities present during bad times and good times? So I'll wear my entrepreneurial lens and say, what are the opportunities being created by social distancing? What are the opportunities being created by the ECQ, diba? That's how they think. So again, no, that's the first aspect I want you to get out of the way. That first, it's important to have that entrepreneurial mindset that you are in search of opportunities, whether times are bad or good. And during this pandemic, I've had a chance to really exercise that entrepreneurial lens because I had to find opportunities just to keep the business afloat during this crisis. Yung pangalawa dyan is the idea of what businesses should I get into or what businesses should I start? Diba? That's the second question people usually ask you, diba? As a mentor, the people usually ask me the question, sir, what business should I put up? And kadugtong niyan, they will ask you, sir, pwede bang gayahin yung negosyo ito kasi successful ito ngayon? Kaya milk tea or whatever that is, or ube cheese pandesal. And sometimes I ask them, you know what? Kunyari lang, may milk tea na dyan sa inyo at successful siya, at sasabihin mo, magme-milk tea na rin ako dahil successful yan. At tatabihan mo yung milk tea na yan. You won't be as successful as the other milk tea there. Baka hahati na yung success niyo dyan, di ba? But more importantly, what if somebody else puts up another milk tea place near yours na mas masarap, mas mura, mas kalidad kaysa sa inyo? Then you're in trouble. Your business might not last long. But you could have been passionate about milk tea, right? But that won't make your business survive. So maybe the more important question to ask yourself is, what problem is my business trying to solve? So when you go back to entrepreneurship, you must ask yourself, what problem is my business trying to solve? Because more often than not, businesses which solve problems in an area or in a service are those that survive there long-term and sustainable, because problems are what we call pain points, di ba? And these pain points, if you're a regular person, you will say, nako, I don't like this one. Ang hirap naman ito. What does the entrepreneur sees? Oh, pain point yan. Kung aayusin ko yan, kikita ako ng pera. Di ba? Think of it this way. Pain points are irritations. Irritations should be your inspiration for doing business. Again, irritations should be your inspirations for doing business. So for example, sa lugar ninyo, kung marami ng milk tea dyan, papasok ka ba at sasabak ka pa ba ng isa pang milk tea brand? Maybe you take a look around. I have a company called Easy Franchise, and Easy Franchise, nakita namin that the biggest opportunity right now to franchise is actually LPG. Bakit LPG? Kasi karamihan ng mga tao ngayon nasa work from home, di ba? They're cooking food in the house, so there's an increase in the demand for LPG. So instead of going for a sexy business like milk tea na kilalang kilala, maybe you could do LPG. It's not high profile, but it's making money for you because it's addressing a pain point or a problem that people are experiencing right now. They want easier, convenient access to LPG because they are now more working from home. So again, for businesses, it's nice to have, irritation leads to inspiration for doing business. And if you're able to find a business which addresses a pain point and at the same time that you can be passionate about, that's what they call ikigai, right? If you can find something like that one, then most probably that's the business for you to be in.
Yeah, I think, sir, I want to highlight what you mentioned, no, for the few points that you shared about the value proposition, having an entrepreneurial mindset, and of course, solving the pain points. Siguro for our listeners and viewers, minsan kasi kapag may mga challenges na, we tend to be focused on what we are going to experience na mahirap. But again, sabi nga ni Sir RJ kanina, hindi tayo dapat maapektuhan of what's happening around us, but we can look for the opportunities and we can find inspiration in doing business. Kasi nung kinuwento rin ni Sir RJ yung like sa LPG, no, minsan nakafocus tayo dun sa nakikita natin na ginagawa ng karamihan, but at the end of the day, it's about the problems that we are solving, because being an entrepreneur is about contributing something to our community, wherein the people around us will be willing to pay us because we are helping them at least to solve their problems. So siguro kapag mga bata, sir, mga kausap natin, mga millennials or Gen Zs, because most of us, we are exposed to technology, sometimes gusto natin mabilisan pero it doesn't work that way, especially in business. We need to take it one step at a time, and like what Sir RJ mentioned, you need to look for opportunities and have that lens. Kasi minsan din, sir, because of social media rin, no, and what we are seeing around, baka we tend to compare of the opportunities from other people where in fact, baka pwede na rin meron pala tayong hindi nakikita. So thank you, sir, for that reminder about having the entrepreneurial lens and of course, having the unique value proposition. So, sir, siguro moving forward in our discussion, I'm just curious kasi as an entrepreneur, I've seen na marami po kayong ginajuggle, and ang madalas kasi, sir, na pwede ring maging concern ng mga entrepreneurs like me is, kailangan ba, sir, isa lang yung gagawin ko? Do I need to focus on one thing first? Then, when can you say that it's time to open up another business or try to leverage on something? What are your thoughts, sir, regarding focus and effectivity pagdating po sa business?
I think it's really ideal for people to focus really on one core business as they are moving forward. It just happened to be that my specific skill set was one that is, my skill set, my strength is really, I guess, a network of people that I know, and the idea of that, strategic thinking, I can see usually the bigger picture of things that happen, and I have a multiple set of skills, which is hosting, business, marketing. So I'm able to use them for different things. Just to be clear, the main business which I run, which is Mercato Central, is where I devote most of the time. and effort. And the other businesses which I put up, I was able to put up through industrial equity. Meaning, it was one of them, they were my brainchilds. Many of them were, I helped co-found them because they were my brainchilds. And I continued to work on them, but not necessarily on a day-to-day capacity, but rather on a strategic capacity to help grow those businesses. And then bottom line is that usually when you do multiple businesses, the kind of thing that you need to keep in mind is that, sometimes there's a theme that runs across the different businesses, which people don't realize. So sometimes you see other people doing, why is he getting into this one? Why is he getting into this one? But in my head, kasi, I was going for the long game is that I know how all my businesses are connected. I know how Mercato connects to my other business, Enter-PH, which is a global consultancy firm that helps foreign businesses set up over here, and how it connects to Easy Franchise, which is my online franchising platform, to my Mercato app, which I put up as well, diba? To my Mercato Cloud Kitchen. But all those things, they kind of make sense to me, diba? Because they either utilize the same network, the same set of skills, or each one complements the other business. And that's really how I sort of look at it. I mean, there's no harm for you to, there's a benefit to people to do laser focus, and I admire people who do that one. And for me, that must be, for me, admittedly, sometimes I don't have that same sort of laser focus. But the thing is, if you have good people in each company that you work with, sometimes they need your thoughts, they need your inputs, they need your strategic thinking. And what I learned from one, I'm able to place in another one, diba? And I connect the dots, and that's really sort of my strength.
Yeah, amazing. Sir.
And I don't run all these businesses day to day. Like my wife is really the one who is sort of like the chief operating officer running the business day to day. And then for my Enter-PH business, I have a business partner who's a lawyer who runs the day-to-day. For Easy Franchise, there's somebody else who really runs everything on a day-to-day basis. But I'm called on to come in strategically.
Yeah, amazing, sir. No? And for our listeners, ang ganda nung sinabi Sir RJ because he is into strategic thinking and he has multiple set of skills. And of course, there's an industrial equity. So mahalaga na meron tayong team, mahalaga na meron tayong kumbaga leverage sa skills din ng ibang tao kasi it's more of the teamwork, the collaboration that's happening around. Kasi ang misconception, sir, ng mga millennials, sige, pagka hindi ako naging okay dito sa business na to, put up na ulit ako ng bago. Well, in fact, hindi nila kasi nakikita yung behind the scenes. So mahalaga na meron tayong strategy rin. Hindi tayong go lang agad. We need to think about it in every decision that we are taking. So if
what they have to think about is that are they serving? Is there a need that is being unmet? Diba? Yeah. Is there something being underserved? Is there something that not other people are noticing? Diba? Because the basic idea is when you solve a pain point, and this must be pointed out, Carla, that I tell people, okay, it's called the ways to growing your business, the ways to success, WAZE, right?
WAZE. Yeah, nice.
Ways, diba? First of all, is you identify the pain point that you want to solve. But after you solve that pain point, what makes the way that you solve that pain point unique and innovative? Because if anybody can identify a problem, right? If you put your mind to it. But what makes the way you solve that problem unique and innovative that nobody else can copy, or it's very difficult to copy? And that's what I call your secret sauce. Do you all have your secret sauce when it comes to business? Secret sauce can be, do you have a specific skill set that nobody else can copy? A specific access to certain raw materials or inventory that nobody else can get? Or you have access to a specific network that only you have, diba? I mean, those are or products. Those are things that you have that you need to keep if you want to be somebody that has, that you want to put up a business that's scalable. So, for example, kung gutom ka at kukain ka ng KFC, if you want KFC, diba, and you got fried chicken, why go to KFC to eat fried chicken? You can eat anywhere else because there's something unique and innovative about the fried chicken of KFC. It's not just the 11 secret herbs and spices, which is their secret sauce. But they literally have secret sauce, yung gravy nila, di ba? So that's something that you just go to them for because only they can do it that way. So if you go online right now and sell a product that everybody else seems to be selling, chocolate cake, ube cheese pandesal, buko pie, whatever's out there, and it's just like everybody else's, why will people want to buy from you? They want to buy from you because you added something extra. Did you have a certain set of ingredients that you use there that nobody else has access to? Do you have a specific skill set in creating that pie that nobody else can do? Di ba? Or is that specific buko pie that you're making, is it helping a specific community? Diba? These are the type of things that people look at right now when you're developing your product.
Yeah, those are very relevant, sir. No? Kasi minsan ang tendency ng mga generation ngayon, sir. No? Kasi kung ano yung makita sa social media and sa internet, parang yun na, okay na yun. But at the end of the day, the secret sauce, guys, no, will be essential for us to succeed in starting a business. Sir, another question, how can you address a certain situation wherein nag-put up ng isang business pero dahil nga pandemic, talagang hindi na siya kumikita? What are your tips? Kailangan ba niyang mag-set ng time frame para subukan pa makabawi, or when is the right time to pivot, sir, or to change
You
gear?
should always be ready to pivot your business, because what I tell people right now, not just in new normal, but even before the new normal, because of technology, no business is safe. You cannot be complacent when it comes to business, because disruption is the new normal when it comes to doing business. And in business, you call disruption disruptive innovation. It's when a new market and value network disrupt an old market and value network. For example lang, di ba? The taxi business, which is a very old business, was disrupted by Uber and
Yeah.
Grab and Angkas. So there's a disruption that occurs, di ba? And you know what? You can say, you can keep, taxis could have just said, I'll keep on doing business the way that I'm doing business, but it doesn't matter. They're being disrupted, di ba? Same thing happened to the hotel with Airbnb disrupting the hotel business. A new market value network disrupts an old market and value network. So your business will always be disrupted by all these changes. The difference now is that instead of being disrupted by technology, you're just being disrupted now by a pandemic. So there are new pain points being caused as a result of this pandemic. And if this pandemic causes pain points for your business, what do you have to do? You have to learn to disrupt your own business, right? And how do
Yeah.
you disrupt your own business? You've got to think about what are the pain points that you need to address for people to continue using your products or services. Or perhaps you see that your business can address pain points, another pain point of another person's business now, di ba? It changes eh. Or you analyze what is your brand essence, what is your brand all about, and you pivot based on that one. For example, some companies, their brand essence, let's say the one there's a German company. It used to be, they used to do live productions in Germany, outdoor productions. But of course, because of this pandemic, they could not do any more live productions outdoors. So they had to look back and say, what is the brand essence of my business? What do I really do? And they realized that what they really do good at is building furniture or building stages, di ba? So they pivoted to building pandemic-friendly work-from-home furniture, because it
Yeah.
still made sense. It was still the brand essence, di ba? So at Mercato, we had to close down because we were a outdoor food market. But what was our brand essence? Our brand essence is to be an incubator for small food businesses. How can I
Yeah.
pivot my business to becoming an incubator for small food businesses? Can I only do that offline? Can I do it also online? Are there other ways to execute it, like Cloud Kitchen, like an app? So these are the different things that you start looking at, but you've got to look at the essence of what your business is all about.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I heard, sir, na mag-transition kayo, or are you gonna have a place in Uptown for Mercato Central?
We will also have an outdoor market there because our specialty is outdoor. I mean, that's a good pivot for us, diba? We closed down, but we did a lot of learning and iterating and failing during this crisis to finally develop a safe, socially distanced outdoor market that follows IATF protocols. I mean, we were one of the first to develop that one. And you know what? One of the silver linings of this pandemic is that you have to eat in alfresco locations instead of
Yeah.
eating indoors.
Indoors.
Diba?
Yeah, actually, sir, I used to work in Mega World for 7 years now, so I used to walk around Uptown for a long period of time. So we're excited, sir, to witness the transition for Mercato Central. And look, moving forward, that's nicer to emphasize the importance of disruptive innovation, because at the end of the day, the only constant in this world is change. And of course, in our business, we need to keep on improving. We need to keep on innovating, and of course, continuously adding value to the community or to the people around us. So for our listeners, again, gusto ko lang emphasize, try to identify the pain point. And of course, there will always be a learning opportunity. And right now, sir, what's good thing about this pandemic, of course, we are facing challenges, but we can leverage on e-commerce, on technology, on how we can still market our services or products online. So I think people really need to transition into something that is visible online, because we cannot go out most of the time. But again, the presence of a business should be uh, always evolving as well. Kasi may mga traditional business din, sir, before na hindi sila present online, but now they are really creating websites, pages, and also I think entrepreneurs should keep on studying as well on the relevance of their strategies. Kasi it can be phase out, sir, no? Like what's happening sa mga disruption niya. Like what you mentioned sa Grab, talagang sila yung nag-grow in this season. Talagang yung mga taxi operators, sir, ngayon medyo challenging. So, next, ano naman, sir, no? Question, sir.
Mhm.
A certain business is gaining profits, but eventually, at a certain period of time, meron ba kayong mga experiences, sir, na okay naman yung business, nag-peak naman yung profit, pero may mga challenges sa management or even sa, let's say, as a leader, meron ka mga na-experience na challenges. How do you relate with your staff or how do you handle if there will be personal challenges? Or for example, you're leading a team and then the business is growing, but there's a certain challenge in terms of personal life of people. How do you lead a team, especially at this season, sir? Marami nakaka-experience ng anxiety, something like that, sir.
There's always a challenge in leading a team, whether through good times or through bad times. In particular, na-highlight lang yung bad times natin ngayon because of
Yeah.
what happened. So, because of this pandemic, I think the first one that I realized, one of the best practices, is that you have to make sure that you take care of your people first. I think that's the first one that we made sure of that. The first ones to waive salaries were me and my wife who run the company because everything we did was for the people, and they could see that it wasn't like you're the employees for management. Sabi ko, we're a team. We've got to work through this together. And aside from the working through this together, we had to see what was the bigger picture if we worked through this pandemic. And we were lucky that many of them stayed because we said that the bigger picture is, look at what's happening right now. The silver lining is that because we figured out what are the pain points and where to go next. Who would have thought, di ba? Food market na outdoor, biglang bumukas ulit na outdoor food market na socially distanced and IATF mandated, na may makaka-cloud kitchen kami, na makaka-mercato app kami, di ba? We didn't think about that. But the thing is, because we worked together with the team, we tried to say that we had to show them that, we were with you here, and we have a bigger purpose to be here. I think the idea of having purpose is very key. That's what Simon Sinek says. They both start with why. And they realized we were all helping people grow. We were all helping give people jobs again. So they need the jobs, we need the jobs, but our job was, the unique thing about being Mercato is that we're helping people earn, di ba? Our job is to help get more people and become food vendors as well. So that's what we did over there in the market. And because we were aligned with our vision and we worked together as a team, I think we all sacrificed, and they saw that sacrifice was, not coming from the top. The sacrifice, I think that really helped out a lot.
Yeah, it's nice, sir. Vision, purpose, and teamwork for our listeners. Those are essential for us to thrive. And of course, the good thing about a business, if you're helping and developing your people will help also in the growth of the business. Hindi tayo dapat mag-focus lang sa profit, but in our people as well. Like, naalala ko lang, sir, every time I go to Starbucks, for example, talagang yung culture nila sobrang solid eh. So, alam mo yung pagpasok mo pala ng isang store, alam na nila yung gagawin, and talagang yun yung naging secret ingredient nila for their business to grow. And for startup entrepreneurs who are listening, guys, that is something na we should focus on. Hindi lang dapat agad sa profit, but something that will really outlast a certain period. So, yeah, giving directions to your people and of course, taking care of them. So, sir, thank you so much for your insights. Siguro, final thoughts, sir, on how people can grow past, sir, this pandemic. Ano po yung mga tips ninyo, sir? Do they need to attend trainings? Or what are your suggestions if they are really thriving naman, pero alam mo yun, sir, may mga challenges din sila na.
Attend trainings. By all means, go attend all the trainings that you want. But again, if you want to really wear that entrepreneurial mindset, again, you go back again to the reason you're doing the trainings or exposing yourself to everything is to understand what are the problems that need to be solved, yeah. And from that, start finding ways to solve those problems, right? If you're a startup and if you got a good idea, you can approach Kickstart, you can approach Idea Space, you can approach Cubo right now. If you want to further hone your concept, especially if you're a tech-related startup, those are the places to go. If you want to learn more about non-tech startups or you want business in general, you've got Go Negosyo naman to listen to over there. Really get some good mentors who can guide you throughout the process of being able to build the business, to shepherd the business where you want to take it. And if you're telling me that wala kang pang-capital sa negosyo ninyo ngayon, I mean, Like you're Laway Capital. Me, I was Laway Capital also
Yes,
at the
sir.
very start. But I mean to say that, there are ways to do it. You can't, you work hard. You do insurance, diba? You do
Yeah.
sales, diba? And
Yes,
that
sir.
becomes your way that helps finance your entrepreneurship business. I mean, I'm a host, right? Hosting
Yes.
helps me pay the bills and also helps my entrepreneurship business. Sometimes entrepreneurship, you do good, you do bad. So my hosting and my speaking engagements, my moderations, really, they also help with that as well. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's the bigger thing to remember, that, again, what pain points are you trying to solve? What makes the way that you're solving that pain point unique and innovative, and what's your secret sauce? I think that those are the things that you need to identify. And if you fail along the way, that's okay. I failed. Everybody, I don't know any successful businessman who hasn't failed in the past. But the more important thing is that think of failure as an investment in learning how to do the business better. I think that's the bigger thing, di ba? We've opened up many mercatos in the past. We've closed many mercatos in the past as well. But for every time we've opened and closed a mercato, there's always a new lesson to begin, so we can run the market much better in the future.
Yeah, amazing, Sir RJ. Sobrang relevant po ng mga insights ninyo, sir. Siguro lastly, sir, I would like to ask where our listeners and audience can follow you, any platforms po na pwede
Yeah,
nila
please.
pakinggan.
First of all,
Of
you can
course.
follow me on the RJ Ledesma podcast. We have a Facebook Live for the RJ Ledesma podcast every Tuesday at 7 p.m. But you can also subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That's the RJ Ledesma podcast. You can also follow me on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter. If you guys enjoyed what I had to say here right now, please tag me on the social media platforms. Let me know what you learned. And I'd love to find out how much more I can help you.
Yes, sobrang maraming salamat, Sir RJ. Guys, don't forget to listen sa podcast ni Sir RJ. Ako, talagang inaabangan ko every episode. Sir RJ has been interviewing successful people, CEOs, and entrepreneurs. And it's really helping me, especially someone in sales business na talagang yun nga, sabi ni Sir RJ, huwag tayong matakot kasi minsan may mga resources naman talaga around us. We just need to navigate our focus and channel our energy kung saan ba tayo magiging effective. So again, Sir RJ, maraming salamat po to our listeners and viewers. Thank you for investing your time here in Anchored Podcast and see you again in our next episode. Thank you, Sir
Okay, thank you so
RJ.
much. God bless. Thank you.